Hello everyone, welcome back to Crafts by the Bow. Today is my 10th project for the 12 Days of Crafting Advent Calendar set. Excuse me. And what I'm going to make is a gift card holder. And then for my next project, I'm going to make a matching card as well. And so I've got lots of bits out. And I was going to make this with a coloured base. I was going to make it with the Misty Moonlight base, but in the end I decided to go with a white base. So some of my colours down here, like where it says the white and everything, they're going to be the same sizes, but I'm going to change colour, and I'll tell you as we're going along. So let's move these out of the way. I leave this one up here so that you can still see the sizings. And I've got quite a lot of bits already pre-cut, and I'm using leftover pieces, some of their die cuts. I've got this little gift tag as well, I might use that. And I'm using some of the pre-made labels from the kit. And then we'll just see how we go along. Oh, I also had a little piece, a sample piece that I'd made of the, what is this one? Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. And so instead of one of my pieces of designer series paper, I'm going to use this, I think, as well. So, and I'll put that on the card to match too. We'll see. So I'm sort of crafting on the fly a bit. I know what I'm making. I just don't quite know how it's going to work out. So let's start with the base. This is the basic white, and it's the thinner one. It's not the thick. I'll make my card with the thicker, but for the gift card, I'm not worried too much. So it's 4 1/4 by 11. I've already scored it at 2 1/4 and 5 1/2. The 5 1/2 would make it fold in half, just like an ordinary card. So we've just put one extra score line there. Okay, so I'm going to fold those, fold them over and just burnish them, just to make sure that it's nice and flat. Okay, so then this, where we folded it at 2 1/4, we're going to fold that to the inside, and that's going to be the pocket where our gift card is going to sit. Okay. Now, if this was a coloured piece of card, then, oh, where did I get that little green bit from? I'm not sure. If this was a coloured piece of card, then you would maybe change the colour for the layer of card that we will put on the front. Because if it was like the Misty Moonlight, you might want to do a white layer, whereas I'm going to do Misty Moonlight layers. Okay, but let's make this first. So we need a piece of designer series paper that is 4 by 2, and that's going to go on this flap here. It'll give you a nice border all the way around, and it's just so that the little pocket stands out a bit more. And the pocket is the first thing we're going to make. So I'm going to glue this one down. This is a really simple, easy gift card holder, and you can fancy it up just as much as you want. I like that it fits in a sort of an ordinary envelope. And so you can just give that. You don't have to make a card as well. You can just give this and, you know, write your sentiment inside and everything. And it would work as both a gift card and a card. Okay, now this is going to be adhered down here, but sometimes it's hard to get your fingers into where the gift card holder is. So I like to punch a little half circle. Sometimes I'll use a 1-inch punch, but just happen to have the 1 1/4 on my desk. So the 1 1/4 is what it's going to be. And we're going to do the edge. I'm just going to eyeball the middle and halfway down the punch. We only need a semicircle cut out, like a bit of a thumb hole. Oops. Okay. So I don't need that again, so let's pop that over there. Okay. Now, I was saying about having some of that extra designer series paper or extra embossed here, I'm going to put a piece of that in. I don't think the card will catch on it, but I think it'll just bring it together. So let's see. I'm going to go with, how wide is that? It's actually a 2-inch piece, and I'm going to cut it down to 4 1/4. So, you know that I'm crafting on the fly when I start cutting extra pieces that are not on this list. But I just think it'll set it off. Now, I do have new blades in my trimmer, but what you find with some of these like 3D embossing folders is it can take a little bit to cut through, and you get little bumps sometimes. So I'm just going to trim that off. Okay, and then let's glue that on the inside. Might take a little bit extra glue because it's a 3D embossing folder, but it will stick down nicely. You could make a piece for the whole of that backing if you were just using DSP, or you can leave it plain. Oh, that's a bit long. I don't need it 4 1/4, I only need it to be 4. Oh, let's trim a bit more off. It'll mean that things get a bit sticky, I think, but so I've got it at 4 1/4. I'm just going to do it at 4, and I'm going to pop a little spare piece of designer series paper over there so it doesn't clag up or make my blade sticky. Clag up is quite a Yorkshire word. So things are claggy if they're sticky. Okay. So that's going to be a 4-inch piece by a 2-inch. And it has a little bit of glue down here, but I'm not worried because we're putting glue over to close this. And I'm going to use tear and tape for that. You only need a thin layer of glue. So you could use liquid glue, just a very thin trail of it. But because mine's sticking over this embossed piece, I'm just going to give it a little bit more strength and put the tear and tape over. There we go. And as an extra, I'm just going to put a tiny bit of glue on as well, because that will mean if I don't have it quite straight when I close it, I can still wiggle it round a little bit. Okay, so let's fold that down. There we go. I'm just going to burnish that to make sure that all of the glue and the liquid glue is holding. Perfect. Now, if I had a gift card with me, I could show you. It's going to fit in easily in here. Just makes that nice little easy slot for it to go in. Okay, let's work on the front. So for the front of the card, we need a piece of cardstock that's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. If this was colour and I was putting white on, I would probably cut the same piece in white for the inside because it's exactly the same size. But I've got 2 pieces of the Misty Moonlight, and one is going to go on the front like this, and see how it overhangs over the end of the card. But when you have the card closed, it's just the same. You know, it's that nice border for the base. So I've got mine, and I've also got a piece of designer series paper cut at 3 3/4 by 5. So that's only a tiny border. I only wanted the smaller border on this. Like this. Just to pick up a little bit of the colour. So we'll attach those 2. And with some of these papers, it doesn't matter which orientation you have because it looks good all the ways. So I'm just having mine like this, and it's going to attach onto here. but we're only going to glue the left-hand side of it. If we glue the right-hand side as well, we won't get the card base open. So I'm just going to glue that down, and I need to go about halfway across. Let me see which way I'd like it. Actually, I think I'm going to put it that way around. So half of that needs glue. Often what I do as well is where this edge is, I put a little bit of glue down there. So I know that it will stick down flat. I just make sure not to go too high or too low at the bottom so that you won't be able to see it. But that just means that if I haven't got quite enough glue here, that will make it stick down. And then I've just got the same border, and I've got the card closed so that I can see the right hand side as well. Just check how much I need. Okay, see, no glue on the back. And while I'm here, I'm going to put the inside piece in. This would be white if you had a coloured base, but because my base is white, I've chosen to do the coloured inside. And I'm going to line it up, put it in the middle, but before I squash it down, I'm just going to close that and check I can't see. Yeah, sometimes if I haven't got it quite right, you might have a little piece poking out at the side or something, but I think that's good. So, okay, let's carry on doing inside. Now, you could put just a piece of, this isn't the right size, but you could put a piece of white in, ready to use for your sentiment and everything. And then, I don't know, maybe the bow from the die cuts or one of the flowers. But I wondered about using this. These are almost like the small memories and more cards, where they have something different on each side. And I thought I might put it in sideways like that, so that it just matched this paper. And that way I don't really have to worry too much about the inside. Just see, I think I'm going to put it that way, I think, so that the pattern's on that side and it carries the pattern right over then. You could add another piece of paper here if you wanted, but I'm not going to. That. Okay, now let's concentrate on the front. So I've taken one of the labels, and we have the smaller ones and the longer ones. So I'm going to use the smaller one on the gift card and the longer one on the gift card holder. So, sorry, I should say that again. On the birthday card, I'm going to use the small one, and this one on the gift card holder. So because it's a birthday, I am going to put the birthday wishes sentiment on, and I'm stamping in Secret C because that's that nice darker colour there. And I'm going to stamp so it's over to the right hand side a little bit, like that. So let me just take that off. I don't think that was on quite square. I like my block to be on an angle, but I think I didn't have the stamp itself quite square. And sometimes with the photopolymer ones that happens because we might pull them or push them into a little different shape, and that's not what we want. Okay, so I am putting that in the middle, top to bottom, but slightly to the right hand side, just like that. Okay, let's close that up. I don't need any more ink. I'm going to put this on dimensionals, and I'm going to put it at the bottom of the card like this. You could pop it straight in the middle. That looks nice as well, actually. But wherever you like that to be. I'm going to pop dimensionals on the back. I know that this isn't going in the mail, and it isn't a thick card anyway, so I can get away with putting dimensionals on. Sometimes on these longer labels, it's nice to use the edges of the dimensional page because you can cut those to the exact length you need. And you don't have to use so many individual ones. Let's have a little look. Actually, I am going to put it in the middle. It looks quite nice. And I like which flowers I can see. Okay. And then I'm going to use some of my die cuts. I've got a darker one here. Oops. Or I also have one of the little flowers that matches. But no, I think I'm going to use one of these just to emphasize the darker Secret Sea as well. Okay, so I'm going to put a dimensional at one side and a little bit of glue at the other. And that way it will stick onto the label. And it will be the same height because of the dimensional. Let me see what I've got for leaves. I've got some of the little die cut leaves that I made. Let me show you. So it was that one and that one that I have little die cuts for. Some are in Old Olive cardstock and some are from the designer series paper that goes with this. Let me just see. I might pop some of those on. Let me just see at this side. Yeah, I maybe should have cut some of them backwards or upside down, had the paper upside down so that they didn't all go the same way. I think I'm going to use these leaves. I'm going to put a little dab of glue on the back because we'll have those down flat. A little bit of glue on this one. Oops. There we go. Let's see about this other one. I'm going to put it like that, I think. Yeah. So, there we go. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if it will go backwards enough on there. No. So I'm going to pop it down there instead. Okay. So that's our quick and easy little gift card holder. And then next time I will make the matching birthday card. So thank you for watching and I will see you all again in a couple of days. Take care. Bye-bye.